Good afternoon. My name is Ileana Soto. I am an associate attorney here at Corporate Division by Union Law Group. My office is here in San Isidro, California, and today we're going to be discussing L1 visas. So L1 visas aren't very well known to a lot of people. They're not too heard of among different companies. It's definitely an option that can be used and frequently depending on the kind of employees that you'd like to bring over. But for today, we're going to go over the general requirements of what an L1 visa requires. And if there are any questions, feel free to ask them. But for now, I have some questions that have been asked, more like frequently asked questions for the visa, and we can go from there. So one of the first questions I get asked is, I already have a company, it's present in a different country, and I have offices in the United States. What are some of the qualifications for an L1 visa? So one of the qualifications for an employer to have for the L1 is that you need to have a qualifying relationship between your foreign company and the office here in the United States. So essentially, if you have a company, let's say in Mexico, and you opened an office here, the qualifying relationship would need to be something along the lines of an affiliate, a subsidiary, a parent company, a branch office, something in that nature. That would be the qualifying relationship. And for that qualifying relationship to show, we need some form of documentation or evidence that shows that they are indeed in that relationship. The next requirement would be that the company is either currently doing business or will be doing business in the United States and with one other country. So if your company is in Mexico and you have an office here, you need to be able to be doing direct business with the United States from the Mexico company or from US to Mexico with your US office based. For employees to be able to transfer. So the L1 visa is great because it allows you to transfer employees from your foreign office to your US office. But there are certain limitations to that. So for example, for an employee, you need to either be in a managerial or an executive capacity in the foreign office currently. You need to have had that kind of position for at least a year in the 3 years before filing an application. So for example, if you have been a general manager for your company in Mexico and it's been that way since 2019 to now, you have the required 1 year. But if you have a break, if for some reason you started in 2016, you stopped working in 2017 for that same company, and you came back recently, but you only have 6 months in the last 3 years, then you still don't qualify. You need to have that 1 year in the last 3 years to be able to qualify for an employee transfer. The next thing is that you need to be seeking to enter the US to work in the branch office or the affiliate office in the same managerial or executive. It can't be for any other type of position. It either has to be in an executive role or it has to be in a managerial role. Another question that I do get asked a lot is there a possibility of doing an L1 with an office that's brand new? And the answer is yes. There are additional requirements that you do have to meet, but essentially if you're opening up a new office in the US that's connected to your foreign company and you want to transfer employees to kind of help develop the company, then you are able to do the same. The same rules apply to the employee. And as I said before, there are additional requirements that you need to meet for the new office to be able to qualify for an L1 visa. Another question that I get, and this comes mainly from the employee side, is what are some of the benefits of the L1 visa once I'm in the United States? So the L1 visa allows for benefits such as living in the United States. With the L1 visa, once you transfer, you're able to live here. You're allowed to bring your family as long as it's a spouse or children under the age of 21. Your spouse can work if they apply for that employment authorization. So once they are approved to be your dependent, your derivative follower on your L1, they come to the US and they decide, I want to work. And so the next step would be applying through the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services Department, or USCIS, for employment authorization based on being a derivative under the L1 visa. If they're approved, they're able to work during the time that they're here, and they have opportunity to renew that employment authorization as long as their L visa remains viable. The great thing about the L1 visa is that it is a path to residency. Usually what happens is that you are on the L1, you've been here for a while, and maybe the company decides, you know what, you're really good, I like you, you've been great for the company, and I want to be able to help you get your residency. And so what they do is they petition for residency through the L1. It's what's called the employment-based petition, and it's category 1 for the L1. But that would be more detail for that coming into a different live version. For now, all I can say is yes, it's one of the benefits that many people see is that eventually you would be able to become a lawful permanent resident. And that would apply to your spouse and to your children under 21 as well. So that's mainly the basic questions that I get asked a lot about the L1s. It's also on a case-by-case basis, so there's definitely more documentation, more evidence that we might need once we see that you qualify on the basis of the requirements that we have. The case-by-case basis just means depending on the type of company, will require certain documentation. With other companies, we will require other documentation. But if you believe just based off of this information that you may qualify, feel free to set up an appointment with me here at Union Law Group, and we can do a consult and see if, just based on cursory questions and general qualifications, see if your company and your employee qualifies for the L1 visa. And one more thing, the L1 does work for owners of companies, so that would be an executive role. If it's your company that you're opening an office for, you're CEO or president, that counts as an executive position. You can qualify yourself as an L1 through your company. That's something that a lot of people get confused on, but it's definitely possible. It doesn't just have to be for your employees, it can be for yourself if you also meet the qualifications of executive position, of office qualifying as a qualifying organization, and other things. So I hope that this information has been helpful. If you have any questions or concerns about this kind of immigration process or any others that you might be interested, please feel free to contact us here at Corporate Division by Union Law Group. We are more than willing to set up a consult either with myself or with another one of our attorneys so that we can see what options you have. Our phone number is 619-797-8180, or you can always message us here on Facebook or write us an email at hola@unionlawgroup.com. For today, that's it. If you have any questions, you know how to reach us. Again, my name is Ileana Soto. I am the Associate Attorney here at Corporate Division by Union Law Group, and we'll see you again soon.